Neville, or is it Neville or Neville?
Neville like the devil, bro.
Never like the devil. All right, Neville, and he has a very successful book, and we'll talk about this in a bit. But first, I want to start off with someone who has been one of my favorites for years. I saw that you had Jack Donovan on not too long ago.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I haven't caught it yet, but I'm a huge fan of his work, and I own several of his rants on PDF, where you could buy them for $10.
Hmm.
And he really knows a shit about culture, which is really my thing. I,
Yeah,
I like culture more than anything else, 100 times more than politics. But
yeah.
give me a quick preview of the interview, and what do I have to look forward to?
Well, if you've read his stuff, which I assume you have, or you wouldn't be a fan, what you'll find is he's not what you expect. Like I thought he was going to be this booming, thunderous leader, like just giving these unbelievable orations. You know what I mean? That's what I was expecting when I first met him, and I had met him before we recorded, actually several years before that. And he's just like the nicest guy. Like he's just like me or you. You'd see him in the grocery store and just shoot the shit with him, and he's just not what you think. When you read his books, you kind of have an expectation of him, and you meet him, and you're like, "Oh, this guy's just normal as shit." Like he's the coolest guy. He's super nice, and he's got a. You mentioned the sociology part of it. Um, I would consider him. I'd go as far as calling him a philosopher. Like he was thinking things in 2010 that people who do what we do, what he and I do, still aren't thinking. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he's always way ahead of the game, and he's got a very a unique ability where it's like he can predict the weather, man. He can predict the future. If he's thinking about it and talking about it, it's because he sees it before most other people do. Like when I talked to him, I asked him kind of, you know, not softballs, but I asked him things that I knew my guys would want to hear. And his guys are, I think, more advanced than my guys. No offense to my guys, but um, I asked him like, "Hey, who would have the benefit who would benefit from from deleting or eliminating or softening masculinity in a country, in our country?" And his answer shocked the shit out of me. I just hadn't thought about it yet. He said, "Well, if you really want to have a successful country, well, nobody would benefit from that. You know, women certainly won't benefit, and children definitely won't, and obviously men won't. But if your country is run by oligarchs, by elites, then there's a lot of advantage." And like he said it with such like, he was so confident in it, and it just had never occurred to me, so even in the conversation, I couldn't get all the way there with them. It took me months of thinking about and researching it before I'm like, "Okay, now I get what he's talking about," you know what I mean? So he's highly, highly intelligent,
Mhm.
um, again, strong philosopher, a mind for art, like, he likes creating the videos, and, like, he's just made for doing what he's doing, and that's I call him the OG. I mean, he's been this modern men's movement, he was the first guy who I thought had any kinda grip on it. Great dude, I'm proud to call him a colleague, you know, he's a good dude. Yeah, real nice guy. So that's what you're gonna see, just me and him shooting the shit, and, it was a great conversation, and again, it's just 2 guys, like, it isn't we're not orators. We're just 2 guys talking like you and I are now.
That's cool. So he's kind of the male version of Camille Paglia. Because
Yeah, if I post so if I post something about Camille Paglia, his answer is always the same. He'll say, "She's the best feminist." That's what he always says about her. So, yeah,
oh, by far,
he's a fan of her stuff, yeah.
yeah, yeah, by far. And it's funny because she's the one feminist that other feminists hate.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, because I what she did is she stayed where this thing started. She knew what the original goals were in the '60s, and that's still where she is, but that movement has gone into so many other things since then, and she's like, "We didn't sign up for all that shit." She's like, "We're trying to get to here, and we're already there, so you guys calm down." I mean, that's kinda her thing.
Hmm. Which kind of reminds me, I'm not going to, of course, dox my friend, but I have a real close friend of mine who's gay,
Mm,
and he's actually far right. As far right as a lot of people on Substack.
mhm.
And he said, "We won. We got the marriage. It's over." He just hates woke with a passion because it's like you need to stop.
Mhm.
Once you win, you stop. You don't rub it in someone's face. And
Keep
that's so
going,
he
yeah.
can't stand. He tells everybody that he's married to a woman because he hates the association so much.
I see. That's not as uncommon as you think to be gay
Yeah.
and be far right.
Hmm. So, but that's kind of along the lines of Camille Paglia. Is
Right.
you won, stop, and
Yeah.
just enjoy your victory.
Yeah, she's impressive. There's no doubt about that. I've read most of her work, and I repost stuff of hers, which again makes people scratch their heads because it doesn't seem because I attack feminism pretty aggressively. You know, I critique it, you know, on an academic level, and you know that's what gets everybody's panties in a bunch. But and so that doesn't make sense that I would talk to a feminist and support her, and you know, like I'm right now saying good things about her. People are confused by that, but fuck, man, you don't have to be in this that long. You don't have to research that hard before you can see who has their shit together and who doesn't, and she does.
Yeah. Yeah, I love her takes on culture because it kind
Me
of
too.
makes me really want to pay attention more because I feel like I know culture. She makes me feel retarded.
Yeah,
And I
she's
don't say that mildly. She really does.
well, and that's Jack too. So they both that's their jam. That's what they're looking at is why do people interact the way that they do, and I'm so thankful that there are people studying that because fuck, man, I don't have the time to do it, and I trust them. You know, you tell me the outcomes, and I'll work based on that. So appreciate it.
So you and I are slightly older than the average writer on Substack, and we
Yeah.
both write about masculinity. So
Hmm.
tell me, and don't even hold back. Just don't hold back. Why do you
Okay.
think masculinity is so shamed nowadays?
Oh man, there's a lot of factors. You can't just put it on one thing, but um, I would tell you that I'll start at the beginning. Let's just go through like a boy's life. Right now, you got 40 some percent, low 40% of boys born in the U.S. are going to experience fatherlessness at some point in their lives, and which means they're almost definitely going to be like the numbers are. It's like 2,000 to one single mother homes to single father homes. It's like 2,000 to one right now in our country, and so they're going to be raised by mom, and then they're going to go to a school that 77, 78% female led, which is great. I mean, my mom's a teacher, my dad was a teacher, I used to be a teacher. And yeah, I work with plenty of women, and they're great at what they do. There's no doubt about that. But boys become men socially. So they've got to see role models doing it right. And when they don't have one at home, and then they don't have a teacher at school that's a male, they're not sure exactly who to be or how to be that thing. So then you they get to college, and we're looking at that right now. Guys are, 37% of degrees in the US right now are earned by men. That's like a third of degrees, which means two-thirds of degrees are earned by women. So college is heavily female. They go to an office and the HR department's all women, and like they're not seeing role models, and so they don't know how to act. So then what's left? All right, what's left? Well, I can look at screens. I can look at what I'm seeing in the movies or what I'm seeing on my phone or what I'm seeing on my laptop and see men for sure. But those screens, the stuff that's on there, it's all commerce, right? It's people who are trying to make money off of something. And it doesn't take a genius to figure out that 80 some percent of household spending is done by women. They're making those decisions. If you're a married guy, she's picking out a lot of the stuff. So she's deciding what they're going to buy. So marketers know that too, which
Mhm.
long story short, that really impacts what's on the screens. It's a bunch of things that appeal to women. It's rare that you find things, now you get things that are dialed to you into your phone and stuff like that. But so guys aren't seeing what it is to be a man. And so they're not becoming what they should be as men. And then they get out into the world, and women get around that version of a man and are very turned off by it. And
Right.
rightfully so. Rightfully so. So there's your lifespan. And now we got women who are like, there's no good men anymore. And they start thinking, well, this is what men are. And these guys who have never really learned it. And now we have bad relationships, and okay, somebody got pregnant, and we're going to start the whole cycle again. And now that guy's not going to be there for his son. And we've had that now for like 3 generations in the US. So I think really it's not liked. It just is very misunderstood. Um, and that's why, I wrote Reviving Masculinity to solve the first problem, right? Like, hey, young man, you weren't taught So I'm going to write this stuff down. You can read this. It's going to give you an idea of what your dad would have taught you. That's what that book is. And it has helped. It's helped a lot. I mean, it's selling really well. It's sold in every English speaking country, which is pretty fucking cool. I'm no Jack Donovan, but I'm trying, you know? But it's just a book. Like, nothing can replace a father. You know, and even like, you know this stuff. I'm just spouting off talking points, but even the court system doesn't see fatherhood as something valuable outside of the financial part of it, you know, which is a fucking shame. You know, and then and when guys are in that spot and they're raising their kid from afar, well, maybe they start to believe that too, that that's all they're good for is just the money. And it's become a real shit show, and it needs to start. We got to jump in somewhere, you know, and try to figure it out. I don't, what do you think, man? I mean, you're writing about it for some reason. I believe that you're trying to help. What got you
So
going?
I didn't have a dad, and I grew up a cartoon male because, I learned how to be a father from my football coaches or how to be a man
Nice.
from my football coaches and also from TV.
Mhm,
And I was lucky that it was the 80s because if you take all my heroes, they've all
mhm,
been castrated. James Bond is now dead.
yeah,
Luke Skywalker is now a pussy.
mhm,
Han Solo is dead. And we could go through a list. Indiana Jones was
mhm,
castrated. And you look at all the guys I grew up with, and luckily they haven't destroyed Rocky yet, but that's a
mhm,
matter of time. But everyone I grew up with was either killed or castrated, and just it's scary that the boys are not getting these role models because at least it was something. So it
right,
was something for me to base. This is what I am as a man. Just do this, and
yeah,
and I think not having a dad set me back about 5, 10 years. I was good with girls, but it was manipulation. It was not functional.
I
It was
see.
I was really good at manipulation because I'm good at that, and that's not something to be proud of. That's something that's kind of dysfunctional.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was probably a coping mechanism for you. Like, you gotta get through the world somehow, and that's one thing that you knew worked. I mean, you're just a
Yeah.
young guy. How did you know that? Like, you can't make that you can't blame her younger, dumber you. You can't blame that guy for not knowing what older, wiser you now knows, right? It's just the way it
Oh,
was.
totally. So I enjoy your EQ tape. I listened to the whole thing, and you were talking about, how like someone with low EQ will take out their frustrations. Everybody has frustrations. Everybody has horrible days. Everyone has failures. But if you have low EQ, you take it out on the people around you. You break shit around the house, which I was guilty of when I was young.
You're
I
talking about
break,
you're talking about the emotional intelligence one.
yeah, emotional
Okay, yeah,
intelligence, and
gotcha.
you create a bad environment so nobody wants to be around you. And I
Correct.
was wondering, my girlfriends in the past just hated being around me.
Mm,
Wonder why. But then you talk about emotional regulation. And
right.
whereas you can't control how you feel, you can control how you act. So expand on that a little bit. How do you help out somebody who just didn't have good EQ growing up?
Um, yeah, like, I look at it as very much as an opportunity to empower yourself. I mean, because, you know, we're never gonna, like, villainize your emotions. You're a human being, you're gonna have emotions, you're gonna be afraid, you're gonna be nervous, you're gonna be scared, you're gonna have shame, you're gonna all that stuff's gonna happen, so you can't, like, expect as a man that you're not gonna feel those things. You are, so we have to accept that right away, and it's not doesn't make you weak, it doesn't make you less of a man, it just makes you a human being. Congratulations, you're not Drago from Rocky IV, right? You're not a robot.
Right.
Um, the difference between a good man and a great man is what you do as a result of that, right? So I can't control how I feel how I feel, but I can control always what I do as a result of it, right? So I talk about living in that space between the feeling and the action, right?
Mhm.
So, okay, I'm feeling this and I'm going to let myself feel it. I'm not going to push it down. I'm not going to if that means I got to take a drive, if that means I got to go someplace, if I got to shut down for a minute, I got to understand what I'm feeling before I decide what I'm going to do. If you like I said in there, if you're going to be the guy who punches a wall or kicks a door, all that shit. You're gonna scare people. And you look out of control, man. And you are out of control. You
Right,
know,
right.
you don't have to. Again, you don't have to not feel shit. You should. That's human. Like there'd be such a shit existence if you didn't have emotions, especially negative ones, because I think they really color the good times. You know, they can really make your ups so much better.
There'll be
Um,
no art.
what's that?
No art. There'll be no good music.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, people don't write about taking a dump or ironing curtains. They write about the highs and the lows. Okay, those are the things that inspire you and, like you said, create art. You gotta go through that stuff. I mean, shit, I'm no different. I'm not that I'm calling my books art, but when I wrote my first book, it was me documenting how I got through a pretty rough couple of breakups, you know?
Mhm.
And that emotion is what created the art. You're right. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah. I think for a man to be a good musician, he has to have his heart ripped out. Now, I
For sure.
really believe that. And it's just funny because they even talked about that in the movie Crossroads. I don't know if you saw that with Ralph Macchio,
How old is it?
80s.
Crossroads. Okay. I'm gonna go back and watch it, man. That sounds good. I love 80s movies for sure.
I'll give you the quick rundown. Ralph
Okay.
Macchio is a classical guitarist,
Okay.
and he's a prodigy, incredible guitarist, but he really has a soft spot for the blues.
Okay.
And there's this one guy who's in a retirement home, and Ralph Macchio sneaks him out of the retirement home. He's an old blues player who sold his
Okay.
soul to the devil
Oh,
at the
Jack Johnson.
crossroads. So it's a little bit deeper than this. So Ralph Macchio doesn't take the whole selling soul to the devil seriously until the very end of the movie where he actually sees it happen. And Steve Vai plays the devil's student.
Really?
And Ralph Macchio at the very end of the movie goes up against Steve Vai in a guitar battle. And it's just an incredible guitar playing throughout the movie. But
Yeah,
um,
I said Jack Johnson. It's Robert Johnson, but that's the story of Robert
yes,
Johnson, right?
yes, Robert Johnson. That's the guy who wrote the Hellhound is on my trail,
Yeah, it's a great story.
which I love that song because it's I mean it's a horrible recording because it's 1920s,
Mhm.
but it's such a the first time I heard it, I had like goosebumps on my back. It's just a
That's cool.
haunting song. But in the movie, they talk about you can't write good music until you get your heart broken.
I don't think you can write anything good until you've experienced some life, some big parts of life. I agree.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a good thing. And another problem that people get wrong about stoicism is they think that stoicism means to bury your emotions. It's like, no, it means you
Mhm.
control them.
That's right.
Emotions are great. You just have to control them.
Yeah, you control what you do as a result of them, right? I mean, I go as far as to tell you that, if you're feeling sad about a breakup or something bad going on in your life. There's this Joe Diffie song from the 90s I'm a big fan of. It's called A Night to Remember, and he's singing about, he's split up with this girl, and this is such good country music. It's such gold, and he says he's gonna have a night to remember. He's gonna spread her pictures on the floor, play the songs, have a few beers, and get that shit out of him. He's gonna feel the fuck out of that pain so that he can get it out of himself, and that's such valuable shit. I'll tell you, women are so much better at that than men, like they understand that part. I got to get this out of me. They'll cry it out. You know what I mean? And, yeah, I would go that far and say that you have to feel the shit. Now, doesn't mean you have to feel it publicly, right? You do that on your own, and then you come up with a plan, and then you deal with it, and that's what the public sees, including your partner, I would tell you. Most of the time, she didn't wanna hear you complain about how you can't handle shit. She wants you to, "Hey, this is what's going on, and here's my plan." That's gonna make her
Yeah,
feel a lot better, you know what I mean?
exactly. But going back to men versus women on breakups is this is my personal theory is the reason why women handle it better is because they handle it. And whereas
Yeah.
a man will bury it.
Yeah, and I think there's a timing issue too there, and again, we're just talking about generalizations here, but, um, I think women know they're leaving long before they do in a lot of cases. I think that's a lot more common. I've never been in that situation. Once I know I'm out, that's when I leave. I don't wait and plan, and, um, I don't know, but it's a different mindset. It's a different reasoning. I'm not saying one's better or worse, but yeah, once they get out, usually a lot of times they're in a little better shape already, and then, like you said, they handle it. They do what they have to do.
Yeah. So you like Adam Carolla.
Yeah, I
What
do.
other
Yeah.
podcasts would you recommend? And also, why do you like Adam Carolla?
Well, Adam's a construction guy, and I run a construction company. So
Nice.
he talks about he compares a lot of things to construction, and that just jives with me. That's a big part of it. He was also a football guy, and I'm a football guy.
Mhm.
Um, I do a lot of, I would be working building stuff even if I weren't getting paid for it. I just enjoy the work. You know what I mean? I also I like Megan Kelly. When she's talking to someone that I'm interested in, I'm a big fan. If she's just talking about the latest political stuff, I'm kind of not that interested. But I do like her take on things. She's just a sharp lady and very direct. She's talking about facts and logic, and that's how I think. So that works for me. I'm going through my list, the people that I listen to on the regular. Obviously, I catch Rogan, um, and that's going to be guest dictated as well. So when he has just a stand up comic on there, unless I already know the guy, I probably won't watch that one. But like when he had he's RFK on there. I mean, I that's where I found Jordan Peterson was on Rogan, which
Mhm.
that's before I wrote my first book. I was reading 12 Rules for Life and figuring all that stuff out. Um, yeah, I don't. Those are pretty much the main ones that I catch. How about you, man? What do you like?
Uh, those ones, and I gotta tell you, I got to see RFK before he lost his voice, and it's such a shame because he had the most beautiful speaking voice.
You did. You've seen him before. So I guess I've never heard him before because it was a long time ago. He was like 40 or something when he lost it, right?
Yeah, yeah, I saw him when he was really young. I think it was the early '90s,
Okay.
and he was already a very successful lawyer. He
Yeah.
sued several companies that were dumping toxic sludge into was it Lake Erie? I don't
Sounds
know if
right.
it was, yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was that area, and it was because of RFK that Lake Erie cleaned up.
Yeah. He's a New York guy, so that would make sense. Like Erie borders on New York, right? I think it does.
Yeah,
Doesn't it? Yeah.
yeah. So I love the guy, and it's such a shame because it's hard to listen to his voice now, and not knocking him, but because I remember what it's like before.
Yeah, I bet that would be tough. And if you haven't listened to when I first started hearing him talk, it is off-putting and it's hard to focus on what he's saying. But
Hmm.
after a while, I figured it out, and now I just hear him talking. But weird coincidence with him. Um, the guy who wrote the foreword for my most recent book, this one, the guy who wrote the foreword is a dude named Philip Folsom, and awesome guy, very intelligent. I met him through doing what we do here. And like I said, I was able to convince him to write the foreword for my book. And I went through his Instagram, and there was a picture of him wearing one of my podcast t-shirts. Thank you, Philip, if you're watching this. Appreciate you plugging my stuff. And then like 2 pictures later, it's a picture of him with his arm around RFK Jr. because yeah, which is pretty cool. I'm like, so I'm only one step away. I'm like 1 degree away from RFK Jr., which is kind of neat.
Well, that's the thing is that it's a very small world.
It is.
And
Yeah, it is.
one time, my wife and I used to love Vegas. It's just really gone downhill in the past few years. But one time we
Sorry to hear.
spent a week there watching Billy Idol because
Cool.
her favorite living singer is Billy Idol. But we actually met Eric Trump, the son of the president.
Okay. What was he like?
He's a really cool guy. He's in real life he's really nice and he's tall. He's like a foot taller than I am. So the pictures look funny. I look like a little kid next to him. But
That's all right.
so,
At least you got the pictures.
yeah, the family is weird because none of them drink.
Oh,
Because
really? Yeah, I know he's in recovery. RFK has been in recovery for like 40 years.
yeah. So and it's funny because I'm a heavy drinker. The best old fashioned I ever had in my life is a tie between my sister-in-law
Mm.
and Trump International Vegas. It was $23, worth every penny.
Wow, I like a good old fashioned myself. I'm a big fan, but you're saying Vegas ain't a place to visit much anymore, hey? Probably been 20 years since I've been there.
Yeah, it will get you depressed. It's just not what it was. It doesn't have the feeling. We used to love just walking around and going to random things, and
Mhm.
that feeling is kind of gone now. It's gone downhill.
I'm sorry to hear.
But let's go on a lighter note.
Sure.
I know you like music, so
I
Desert
do.
Island CDs. You're limited to five.
Oh, shit, man. That's a toughie. I'm gonna have to stay pumped up. I gotta be able to keep my spirits up, so I gotta go Back in Black by AC/DC.
Nice.
Um, Gotta start there. I get whole albums, right? These aren't just songs.
Right, right, right.
Um, Shit, great albums. Um, I probably go with probably Plush from Stone Temple Pilots. That's gonna remind me of my youth and vigor, right? That was when I was in high school. That was a great fucking album. Um, Man, I'm such a big country fan, so I'd probably go with Brooks and Dunn's Greatest Hits. There's something in there for every mood, right?
Mhm.
Um, this is gonna be way out of left field for me, but or for probably the people who are listening, but, I'm gonna grab a Jason Mraz album. I'm gonna grab Jason Mraz album because I went to one of his concerts once, and I've never in my life seen people so in love with each other. I mean,
Mhm.
it was like everyone was on ecstasy. I've never seen anything like that before, and the music, I think, kinda reflects that, and so I appreciate that, and shit, if anything's gonna get you through, Stranded on a Desert Island, it's gonna be love. So
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna take that one. I got one more.
Mhm.
Man, I'd probably go with, like, Eddie Murphy Raw.
Oh,
Give me a stand-up comedy album, where I can laugh. I'm gonna need a laugh
mhm.
too, so I think that covers my bases. How'd I do?
Pretty good. So was Raw the one where he had ice cream?
I can't remember because there's 2 of them that are pretty popular.
Yeah, the
It's the
two.
one where he's wearing the red leather outfit, I remember that.
Yeah, that ice cream one was so funny.
No shit. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it again, it's been a while, which would be good. I haven't seen it, so if I had it on an island, I wouldn't remember most of it.
Oh,
That'd be
okay.
good.
Yeah, I was in high school when that came out,
Mhm.
and we all watched it so many times. Everyone was a huge fan of Eddie Murphy Raw because
Oh, yeah.
he was so how do I put it? He showed the way that the American woman was heading
Really?
with the whole what have you done for me lately?
Okay, I remember that part of it. I was such a young guy when I saw it that obviously I didn't have the kinda research that I have now.
Mhm. Yeah, so you're probably a little bit younger than me. Back in Black, I gotta go back to this one. I posted Diana, my Romanian model, in my latest article,
Mhm.
and her favorite band is AC/DC. So I always let the models choose
What they listen to when you're
what
shooting
they
'em.
listen to, and she listened to mostly AC/DC, which I thought was really sexy. Unfortunately, I never saw her because a few days before I met her, I was in the Black Sea swimming, and a huge wave came and knocked my glasses off, and I am blind without my glasses.
Really?
So I took the pictures. I made sure that the camera focused, and that's all I could do. I only saw her through the camera because I'm blind without my glasses, and she's a beautiful girl.
Well, that's a shame, I suppose, then. I know I can't read shit without these on. Like, I'm looking at my laptop now because that's where you are. My camera's up here, but
Mhm.
if I'm looking there, I can't. I don't know. I like to look at where you are, even though I can't see you.
Yeah. So you're the opposite of me. I could read without my glasses. That's all I could do.
Okay.
All right.
Hmm.
So you set up a school.
Okay.
And I know that you emphasize the basics like reading, writing, math, science. What else would your school excel at?
I had this question asked of me the other day, so I hate to recycle it, but it's gonna be the same answer. Uh, the 2 things that have been most responsible for my greatest highs and my greatest lows in my life. My highest level of joy and my lowest level of anxiety or depression or sadness or whatever are money and relationships. And we don't talk about really either one of those in schools. And what a fucking crime, right? So I definitely would spend significant time talking about how compounding interest works and how to not just balance a checkbook because nobody does that anymore, but understanding that you got to make more than you spend and what to do when you don't and what priorities are and things like that. Like real like boots on the ground stuff about finances, and then you can go higher after that, start talking about Bitcoin and shit. But finances for sure. Kids would leave there and they would never go into debt unless, very few exceptions. Then second one, man, it'd be relationships. And I think you start by And again, this flies in the face of all the shit that most schools are doing, but making it very clear that men and women are different
Mhm.
and explaining those differences, not in a judgmental way, not in a fuck them way, but hey, young lady, this is how a man thinks. And it isn't the same as you, but that'll help you in this other situation. Hey, young man, this is how women think, and making them understand that. And just those basic things, like the story that I tell all the time is when you have a bully. Okay, you know your second grade kid comes home from school and he's being bullied. You know, moms and dads react differently to that, and it's because
Right.
they fucking think differently, as they should. You know, they're complementary, right? They're complementary, not competitive. Mom's gonna wanna go down to that school, most moms, give that principal a stern finger wagging, maybe call the other boy's father or mother, and she wants to protect her son. She wants to keep him safe. She wants to, and that's admirable. That's a good thing.
Mhm.
But a dad understands, and I'm not saying that you don't want how mom does it. You do want some of that, but dad's gonna be like, "Let me take you into the basement, and I'm gonna get those hands up. I'm gonna show you how and when you need to commit to violence." Because dad knows that if this boy is if only mom handles that, that boy is learning that his own personal safety, let alone being able to protect his wife and kids one day, his own personal safety is someone else's problem. That's his first lesson in that, and that's not what we're built for as men. Like, we're here to protect and provide. So dad's gonna teach him how to protect himself and eventually others who need him. Like, that's what it is to be strong and to be a man. And so those are 2 different things. You have to try to understand each other. You know, I would tell that story to these kids and various other things. I put together a whole curriculum about it. But if they can understand that, think all the problems they're not gonna have when they're married and they have kids. And, you know, if they can go in both knowing, not just knowing, but even appreciating the differences, you know? And it just requires some communication, man. Like, I was just having this conversation with an amazing young lady the other night about, um, it just requires meeting them where they are, right? So mom's worried about his feelings. She doesn't want him to be hurt. Of course, not physically, but definitely not emotionally either. So that's where she is. She's worried for him, his feelings, and she's worried what he's feeling. So that's where you come in as dad and you say, listen, you know, when I was a young guy, I was scared, I was nervous, I was embarrassed, all these things were going on, and the only thing that ever fixed it was me standing up for myself, because now we gotta build that self-respect piece for that boy as well, right? And that's how he gets there. Not no, what boy is gonna respect himself when mommy fixed everything for him, right?
Right.
So you gotta start learning those things, and you learn them, and it's so much better to learn them when they're little kids, when there's really not that much on the line. Like, no second grader is gonna, like, really injure another second grader. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
They just don't have the power. So let's just figure it out now and figure out how we're gonna deal with this. And, you know, everybody, it used to be very common knowledge how to deal with bullies, you know, and it just hasn't been in so long. You know, I say all the time, bring back bullies, and that doesn't mean I'm trying to get people picked on, but I see a lot of people out there whose bullies in high school did a shit job. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I'm like,
sure.
no one straightened your shit out, and they should have. You'd be a better person if they did. You know? I
Mhm.
mean, bullies serve a purpose. I know that's gonna be, but fuck, I'm polarizing anyway. What am I worried about?
Yeah.
Um, but they're like, I had a bully, man. He was way bigger than me. And
Mhm.
I hauled off and decked him one day, and he pinned me down in the seat and beat the shit out of me, but he never fucking touched me again after that. Got people pulled him off me. I'm in the principal's office. You know, he comes around, the principal's just fucking great guy, dude. Back in those days, and you remember, you leave the principal's office with some knowledge, you know, and maybe a suspension or something, but now you leave with a diagnosis and some pills, which is horseshit, right?
Right.
He came around the corner, he put his hand on, and I'm crying like a second grader or fourth grader or whatever I was, and he
Mhm.
said, he came around the corner, he put his hand on my head or whatever, shoulder, whatever. And he said, "I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you." And then he sent me on my way and I was suspended or whatever. But that's how it's supposed to go. You gotta stand up to bullies. That's life, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, I trained my son in jujitsu since
Good.
he's 3 years old.
Mhm.
So he finally used it in junior high because he was the tallest kid. And then of course if you beat up the tallest kid, you're you're cool.
Yeah, you're the guy.
So that's what they thought, but nobody knew that he knew jujitsu. And So this kid, when he's standing in line, and my son's just like the nicest kid in the world, but he's standing in line for the lunch, and
Mhm.
this kid walks right in front of him and flashes the gang sign, and he says something, mean to him. So my son
Yeah,
beat the shit out of him.
sure.
And, he told me what happened, the truth, the whole thing. So I told him, okay, we're going to rehearse this. I'm going to pretend to be mad at you and you pretend to feel bad when we meet the principal. So we meet the principal and I'm really mad at him and he's very apologetic. So then, he gets suspended and I take him out for ice cream. But
Mhm.
that's how I parented my son, and it's just something I just winged because I didn't have a father. I was kind of winging it, but that's what I thought you're supposed to do.
Well, what do you think about it now?
I think I did the right thing.
Well, there you go.
So he was always confident, and this is the funny thing is he's in his early 30s. He's making six figures. He's a manager. He's really big at the company he's at.
Good.
And so many of his peers, it's just downright sad. So many of his peers, the kids that he went to high school with, are just really struggling. And some of them are still living at home. And just, I feel bad for them. But then I think the thing is, they weren't pushed as hard as my son was because
Mm,
I tried to, when I pushed him, I had to do the same thing myself. Like, if I'm going to tell you to run, I'm going to run with
yeah, good. Or he's at least seen you do it before, right? Like,
you. Right.
that's how I would look at it. Like, I watched my dad play basketball for a lot of years before I picked up a ball, and
Mhm.
that's how role modeling works, man. You watch your heroes do some shit, makes you wanna do it.
Yeah. Oh, I like what GW said.
Yeah, I do too. I responded to him. You know that
Oh,
guy?
yeah, yeah. Actually, I'm going to have GW on.
Good, good.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that because he's going to be in the first Opium Tales magazine, which is delayed another month. We had some, Allie had some models. My models are done, but Allie had time with
Excuse
her
me.
models, so we're delayed. Um,
Gotcha.
we're putting out I loved 80s Playboy because when I was saying my dad's, I should really say Hugh Hefner was one of my dads.
Oh, really?
80s Playboy was the best men's self-help that was ever written.
I remember hearing that the writers there were good quality writers. They hired very good writers. I've heard that before.
Yeah. And they also had a lot of really good artists. Like for instance, Alberto Vargas is one of my favorite artists.
Mm,
And he was struggling financially because he made it in the 40s and 50s. And by the time it got around to the 70s and 80s, he was starving. And
mm,
Hugh Hefner was a huge fan of, he was the guy who painted a lot of the World War II planes. He didn't paint them. He was the guy who inspired the paintings.
okay, so the pinup girl stuff, you mean?
Right. Yeah. Pinup girls. So then Hugh Hefner hired him and got him known again. And then he died with a lot of money.
Mm, well, shit. Good for him. Most artists die with nothing. I'll tell you, I've been writing, 6, 7 years here, and it's not my main income source. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Selling books doesn't do what you think it would.
Oh yeah. Okay. So your shoulders are big, which is good. I
Thank
imagine
you.
you could throw the football pretty far.
I can, yeah, still can. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, uh, I've been coaching high school football since I got out of college.
Mhm.
Um, I just coached this last fall. I'll be involved in some level here this year, but my other business is growing so much, I don't know if I'll be able to be full time. But, yeah, that's alright. I mean, I did it for a long time and shit, I'm almost 50. So,
Yeah.
it's a young man's game. Like, that's they should have the young fiery guys coaching them.
Well,
I can
I do gotta say, I have so much respect for my football coaches because they, like I
good.
said, they're kind of one of my dads.
Good,
So,
yeah. That's how we wanna do it. We as coaches talk about that regularly. Our goal yeah, we're just using football as a tool, like, it's just a vehicle, and what we're teaching is how to be good at being a man. We're trying to make great men, not just great people, great men, and
mhm.
football is the tool that we use to teach it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, what's a Travis Neville workout routine like?
Um, fuck, man, let's walk you through it. So I've got 5 lifting days. So I've got a chest, back and shoulders, buys and abs. I hit those together because any way I do. Um, and I do a leg day, and then I do a CrossFit style day,
Mm.
which is CrossFit's fucking hard. At my age, I'm not doing that every day. It's just gonna be nothing but orthopedic surgery. So once a week is enough on that one. And then on top of those things, I do cardio pretty much every day. So might be a 2 or 3 mile run or longer. Might be half an hour on the spin bike. The rower's a bastard, and I would rather run every day. But again, I'm 225 pounds. Running's not great every day for me just because of my knees and joints and stuff. So I maybe get to run maybe twice a week, maybe 3 times is about it. So and I fill in with other stuff. That's pretty much my workout. If I'm not working. I do work in the construction field, like I said. So if I've got a hell of a job going and I'm beating my ass there, hauling material or whatever, I'm not going to lift on those days. I'm not going to run on those days. But that's pretty much it. I don't. Occasionally, I'll take a day off. Like if I know I'm head to toe sore, I won't do any more than that. But man, at our age, it's less about what you're doing and more about what you're eating. I would say what I look like is 80% food, you know?
Mhm.
Stay the fuck away from the simple sugars and just make sure you're getting plenty of protein and don't overeat. I mean, anybody can get fat. You can't outwork a bad diet. You can't do it, especially when you're older.
Yeah.
Um, but that's it. Yeah, I just lift like a chest day for me is going to be 20 sets of chest work, whatever that's warm ups and everything. And, I keep a wristwatch on and I time my downtime. I give myself a second for every year I'm alive. So I'm at 49 seconds of downtime between sets. So I try to really go through things pretty quickly. Yeah, like 15 to 20 sets is enough for me on a lifting day, something like that. Does that explain it?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah,
So
it's just been a part of my life for a long time.
this is going to be a question for later, but now I'm gonna have to bump it up. But let's go back to diet. We all
Okay.
know that men's T levels are lower than they've ever been in their lifetime.
Yeah.
So what dietary changes are? Well, let's just say that you're RFK Jr. and you're
Okay.
actually put into charge. What dietary changes will you make for the United States of America?
Well, number one was the food pyramid. He already changed that. So most of
Right.
what you eat should be meat, vegetables, some fruit, and sometimes you have a little bit of bread. That's about it, and that's about what I eat. I eat a lot of meat and some vegetables and um, frozen fruit and a protein shake, stuff like that. So what they're eating, that's step one to get people healthy. And man, step two, shit. I can remember in middle school we were doing presidential fitness stuff, and everybody did it. There was never anybody sitting on the sidelines saying they had an owie or I got a letter from mom. Our levels of physical fitness in schools right now is just fucking garbage. And I know I'm an anomaly. I'm fit at an older age, but like RFK, he's way older than I am. He's way more fit than I am too. I think he's got a little help that I don't have, but
Right,
um,
right.
he yeah, fitness is it, man. Activity and fuck, man, you start looking at the numbers on that. It isn't just what you look like and your performance on the field. It's how you feel. It's what you think about yourself. It's your level of satisfaction. It's that. Like anytime I am not feeling good about something, I go work out and fuck it. I feel better. I feel better when I'm done. It works every time. Every time it works. Like depression would go down, anxiety would go down. We would change a lot of things if somehow it was socially acceptable for everyone to be exercising all the time. Like that would change so much stuff. It really would. How about you, man? What would you change?
So what's really sad is when I was growing up, there were sandlot sports going on at all times.
Mhm.
And you just join. And that's the one thing that made me cool because I was kind of an outsider because I didn't have a dad. I was like I was always short. And I would join one of these games and they were like, no, you're just a little kid. And then they're like, oh no, we know Roman, he's really good. So,
Mhm.
somebody who played with me before would pull me in. And the next thing you know, I would be one of the leaders in the very next game because I was such a good athlete.
Good for you,
And
man.
that is what made me cool. If I didn't have sports, I would be the biggest loser today.
Mhm.
So I swear that sports are the most important thing for a boy growing up. And it could be anything. I'm including boxing, wrestling. It doesn't have to be football or soccer. It could be anything, but boys need sports.
Yeah, and I would go another step and tell you that they need martial sports, so sports that
Mhm.
are more physical in nature where you're gonna have more contact, and
Right.
specifically so that they can understand the difference between aggression and assertion. You know,
Mhm.
there's a big difference there. You played sports. You you know when somebody's just going hard and when they're, like, wanting to come after you. It's a very different thing, and understanding those differences and learning how to do that, I mean, is that not indeed what it is to be an adult, I would say, and certainly a man. You wanna go real hard and get better at what you're doing, but you're not attacking anybody while you're doing it, you know, that you can apply that philosophy to your job, your career, whatever you're doing, and it's gonna make you successful, and you learn it playing sports, and you learn the concept of the whistle. You know, we learn that this is when you stop. Like, we as men, we've got this natural genetic ability to be strong and to engage in violence when necessary.
Right.
And the skill for most guys, it you know, it's hard to know when to, and it's hard to know how hard you go, but the hardest thing is knowing when to stop. And that's what learning how the whistle works, that's gonna teach you that.
Mhm. Yeah, that's important that those rules, like in boxing, you don't punch somebody in the kidneys.
Yeah, of
There's
course not. Don't
there's
hit him in the
different.
throat. Yeah, don't
Yeah,
poke him in the eyes. You don't small joint manipulation. You don't go after their fingers or toes. Yeah, you just don't do that shit.
yeah. And Brian was talking about basketball. Basketball is another great sport. I thought you had to be tall. I'm very
No, you
short,
don't.
but I found I have strengths in basketball where I sprint as fast as anybody.
Good,
And
man.
just if I'm playing full court, that's my game. I won't even join the half court because it takes away my game. But
Yeah.
passing the ball and setting things up is just as important. Well, I mean, not as important, but shooting is everything. But setting things up makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I was always more proud of myself passing than I was scoring, 'cause I've it's always felt like, all right, whoever if you're open or you're the guy that's there, that well, then you shoot, and that's what you do. Like, it seemed like a function that was created by the creativity of the guy who was passing the ball. Like, I just saw a lot more art in passing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of art in passing.
Yeah, especially when you watch the old, Lakers and Celtics and the Pistons back then, stuff from the '80s and early '90s. I mean, that was real totally different game than what we see now. I mean, they were real team basketball teams, you know what I mean? They were impressive to watch. That's how I learned the game.
Mhm.
And my dad and his friends, they were older and could play. My dad could ball, and his buddies could ball. Like, they were good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So we're going to go a little bit different here, but let's just say you have a family member
Okay.
and he's got a very high IQ, but he's got the worst analysis paralysis. He
Okay.
can never take the first step in anything. He'd never step forward. He spends all his time learning why something won't work instead of figuring out how to make something work. How do you get him to break that cycle?
Yeah, I think that's a mental situation, right? That's something that's going on in his head that you're trying to deal with. And
Mhm.
I mean, I've said this over and over again, the best way to train anything mental is by doing something physical. So,
Mhm.
get him going on anything that he's never done before and just make him do it, whether it's, "Hey, just jog to the mailbox and back." Get him running, get him lifting weights, get him building things with his hands, teach him how to paint, anything, and let him watch how bad he is at the beginning and how good he gets and how quickly he gets good, right? If you can just do something physically, it'll train that part of his mind. I really believe that. I've always said that the cure for that thinking is just go to work,
Oh yeah.
go to work. And so I've got a buddy also named Travis, really good guy. Very much respect him in the construction trades and in other areas. He's a good dude, like I said. But he is a perfectionist. And you hear this about people all the time.
Mhm.
Well, I am not. I am a productionist. All
Right.
right. I'm about getting shit done. If it needs to get tweaked at the end, I'll do that. But I'm getting that fucking thing done. And it's like, hey, we got this much time. I want it done before we go home today. Let's just get it done. I'll go home, think about it. Maybe I'll come back and do some detail stuff tomorrow, but we're getting it done. Right. So that's me. I'm that mindset of let's finish the damn thing. So it's hard for me to understand the perfectionist mindset, the paralysis by analysis, as you're saying. But that's how I've always done it. Fuck, man, just plug your nose and eat the vegetables. Just start digging. Eventually, you're gonna get to the bottom of the hole. Just do it. Just go.
Yeah, I got to respond to Brian here.
Sure.
Yeah, it's weird that there's so many anti-sports people here, but I swear that sports is what turned me into a normal person. I
Hmm.
would be the biggest loser if I didn't have American football.
I mean, sports have definitely helped me for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't understand why they're so, okay. So, congrats on Ideal Man, Reviving Masculinity. I
Thank you.
looked it up on Amazon. It's kicking ass. It's like, it's 53 in one thing. It's, 100 something in another. And it's ranked in three different categories. So you're
Yeah.
totally kicking ass with it. So
Yeah. Thank
first,
you.
tell what it's about. But then the second thing is give some tips because there's a lot of authors here. I was looking through who's here, and there's a bunch of people with either books or like really take their subject seriously. But give some
Well,
business
that's a
advice
writer.
too.
Give some tips, you said?
Business advice for selling your
Okay.
book.
I will give you my best business advice. Number one, don't even consider Penguin, Random House, any of these big time publishers, because you will get an advance. But if you've never published before, it's going to be a very small one. And it's going to take you 2 years before, if they even give you attention, it's going to be years down the road. So it's going to put you way behind. That's one. So self-publish is what I'm telling you. Or get a hybrid publisher. That's what I have. They cost a little bit more money, but they do a lot more shit for me. But in the end, what you get is something where you're getting a way bigger cut of the profit, right? So when I sell a paperback that's sells for $20 or whatever it sells for, I make like $6. And that doesn't sound like much, but with a traditional publisher, you might not make anything. Maybe you'll make a penny a book or 2 cents a book. Like it's nothing. You don't make shit on sales, but when you self-publish, you do. And then that just means you're your own marketing company. So you got to do what I've done. Like you start a podcast, look for some controversy. That sells books better than anything I've seen so far. Like
Mhm.
controversy is a fucking great marketer. That's number one. So self-publish for sure. And you'll get your shit out a lot faster that way too. Like maybe a 3-month turnaround. You send it to them, you bounce back a couple of rounds of editing, and then it's out there. And they'll get you on the Library of Congress, you'll get an ISBN number, all that stuff. You'll be at Barnes and Noble, the whole deal, which is cool. That's number one. Number two, make sure you tell your publisher when you start that you are going to handle the Audible part. Okay.
Mhm.
Because number one, you're going to sell, I'm selling 4-to-1 Audibles to paperbacks. Like
What?
Audible sells better than anything else.
Oh.
That's what every author tells me. Jack will tell you the same thing. Um, and you get an even bigger cut on Audible because it sells for the same $22 or whatever, but they don't have to print out a physical fucking book. So there's no money being spent on that. So like I'll make $8 or $9 a copy on
Mhm.
Audible. And that's because I set it up myself. So now the publisher doesn't even get a cut of that. Like
Mhm.
all of it goes to me. Right. And
Okay.
it's not hard to record your own shit. Like you get an app on your laptop called Audacity, and that'll manage all of your recording stuff. I got this cheap, it's maybe $300 or something. Scarlett 2i2 setup with these headphones and this controller thing you can't see, and then a month, and it was like $300 or something. So $300 and a little bit of software, and you can record your entire Audible, and you can edit it, and you can get it exactly where you want it. Check your levels. It doesn't take a lot of tech to do that. It's on your laptop. And then you're uploading to Audible, which you can do yourself. Like
Mhm.
it's not hard to do. And any of these people, any guys who are listening to this, if you want to learn how to do that shit, hit me up, man. I'll teach you how to do it free. Just hit me up somewhere here. Instagram. I'm on Instagram too, but Substack's the one I'm on every day. Like Instagram's not. I don't really go there much anymore because that's pay to play. Like you're not going to blow up there unless you're paying them. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my best advice. Like that's kind of the nuts and bolts of it. Like you got to understand how to. I mean, writing's the important part. If you don't have a decent product, you're fucked, right? And you got to be able to get it right, get it how you want it, but you still have to get it to the people, right? And
Mhm.
that's where I'll help you. That's where my advice is. Get just how to get it to the people.
So yeah, the second part of the question is sell your book.
Pitch my book?
Yeah, pitch your book. Ideal Man.
Well, it's going to depend on your age, I think, and your position here. But like if you're 40 years old or something, you're going to want to read this one, right? This is a checkpoint, a midlife checkpoint for a man. Where should you be? What things should be in your life? What habits got you to that spot? How do you fix it if you don't have it? Right?
Mhm.
This is meant for a young man. Okay. If you're struggling, you're not sure why the world isn't working out how your liberal teachers told you it was gonna. Well, this book will help you with that. All right. These are the things that they're not telling you. There's a million voices out there telling you need to smooth down and be more feminized and be more palatable and not be threatening. And there's a million voices out there telling you. There are very few voices like me reminding you of what you are underneath all that shit and what to never turn your back on and what to not give up on yourself as a man, and reminding you that real simple shit like, you know what, man, even if your dad was a dick, you didn't have him around, he gave you his last name. All right. And that last name's been through fires and floods and scourges and people trying to snuff it out since the beginning of time. And you still have it. So what are you going to do with that thing, dude? You going to make it into something or not? Right? Little things like that. That's what I'm trying to teach. Pride.
I like that. Yeah, I kind of go back the whole way that humans used to be food for saber-tooth tigers.
Yeah, they did.
And we used to be vegetarians. Then we switched, we came down from the trees. We started to use our hands to build tools, and then we literally wiped out the saber-tooth tiger, and we became the apex predator.
It's all right here.
Yeah, it's all right there. And that's all because humans are the most amazing species there ever was. So when somebody is depressed, just keep in mind what your ancestors were.
There you go.
You have that ability in you. You could kill with your bare hands. Like for instance, the cougars. I don't know if you've ever seen one in real life.
Mountain lion. Yeah, I have seen one before. Yeah.
They're freaking huge. I was watching a video of a guy. And he's fucked up. I mean, the cougar did get him, but he killed the thing with his bare hands because it was going to kill him. So he grabbed it and just he ripped its mouth open.
Give him the old fish hook.
Yeah, and he just and killed it that way and just beat the thing to death. And of course he's all scarred up, but that's a human. That is the most badass animal on the planet. And people say sharks. It's like, how many shark sandwiches I've eaten before? I mean, that was a huge thing in Los Angeles to go to the bar, drink a beer, and have a shark sandwich. So
Yeah,
it's
I get
definitely
it.
not sharks.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're meeting now on the same ground, right? It's terra firma, so a shark can't do anything to you, and you know what I mean, unless you're swimming.
Yeah.
So just don't swim, you're all right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even that, humans have that spear, and the shark doesn't have a chance against that unless the shark catches you by surprise. But if you see the shark and he sees you, you have the spear, you're going to win.
Yeah, for sure. That's the difference between us and the animals, right? We're able to make tools.
Yeah. And that's not cheating. That's part of being a human.
Oh shit, man! When it's life and death, there's no such thing as cheating.
Yeah.
Most people don't get that, dude.
Yeah.
Most people don't get that.
I read somewhere that if don't fight, but if you have to fight, fight like you're the third monkey going on the yard.
Yeah, that's true. I hear Jocko Willink says that all the time. Like, I'm gonna walk away unless you are an imminent physical threat to me, and if you are, I'm there are no tools that are off the table.
Right. Never fought a dog, but I won't lose to one. So I used to wrestle a wolf, and granted, it wasn't full size yet, but I was doing okay. It did rip my Deion Sanders jersey. I was a huge Deion Sanders fan.
What a crime! But was it a Niners jersey? Was it a Falcons jersey?
Falcons.
The beginning.
Yeah, yeah. I was such a huge fan of his because you just didn't throw them. Everybody was scared to throw them. And then if you ask any quarterback, they would do it just to say, "Oh, I'm not scared." But then,
And they'd get
after they retire, they're
exposed.
like, "You're scared of Deion Sanders."
Yeah.
So, okay, we're going to actually close not too long from now. But before we do, recommend some books, but also recommend at least one more Substack.
All right, the Substack I'm going to recommend is Day. He's just at Day. I call him the Hawaiian Hemingway. I did an interview with him, I don't know, a month ago. Just a written interview where I asked him questions and he responded, and we went kind of back and forth. And very interesting guy, young guy. Like he's probably late 20s is my guess. He hides his identity too, which is cool. That's my recommendation on Substack. As far as books, there's If you haven't read Harrison Bergeron, which is a short story by Kurt Vonnegut, it's in a collection of short stories. Definitely check that out. It very much explains, so it's in a dystopian way, what woke is trying to do to our country. So Harrison Bergeron, definitely recommend that. I go back and forth on the Warren Farrell stuff because a lot of his research is awesome, but he just presents it so much differently than I do. If you're going to read one of his books, read The Myth of Male Power. That's pretty good. Um, I'm going to go with The Way of Men. Jack Donovan, my guy.
Jack Donovan.
Yeah,
Way
quality.
and I own that.
Yeah, I have it too, and I can't remember the last time I read it, but it's one of those books where you read it and it's got so much power that they just become ideas that rattle around in your head, and you almost forget that they were never there before you read his book. You know what I mean? Like, it becomes part of your daily operating system very quickly.
He's commented on a few of my things here, and every time he does, it just completely makes my day. It's like, wow,
Yeah.
Jack Donovan knows I exist.
Yeah, he's a great dude, man. And he, you know, I asked him real early on. We were talking about something, I can't remember. I had him on the phone though, and I think I was going through some fucking drama. Anyway, he said that the best advice I can give you is don't take any fucking advice. It's like, because as soon as you do, now your work is compromised,
Mhm.
right? Now it's not all you, and the only thing that is unique is you. Like, as soon as somebody else, now it's a hybrid. Don't take any fucking advice. That's what he told me. That was his best advice, and I've always listened to that, and I've repeated it back to other people over and over.
That's funny because one thing I say is, like when people say be yourself,
Mhm.
I say be yourself and turn up to 11.
That's good, man. This is my advice to myself. This sits on my desk and I see it.
Nice. I like that. Do epic shit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, man. Do cool stuff. I'm like, "Oh, fuck, I'll try to write a book. I'm gonna run a marathon. I'm gonna build my own house." And
Mhm.
it's been a hell of a journey, man. It's cool when you are limited only by your own imagination.
Yeah. I saw your snowboard, or not your snowmobile.
Yeah, I like to ride. I live in Northern Michigan, so we do a
Really?
lot of snow stuff here. We actually still have we got a big snowstorm like 2 weeks ago, and it's not gone yet. Like, we got 3 feet or so in a couple of days, and it's still hanging on, but it's not enough to, like, it's sloppy and wet now, so you can't ride anymore. I think we're done snowmobiling, but yeah, I do like the snowmobile for sure.
So are you a Packers fan or a Lions fan?
Oh, shame on you. I'm from Michigan, bro. I'm a fucking Lions fan. Hardcore forever. Man, I'm a Chris Spielman guy.
Mhm.
He was my favorite Lion. He's still my favorite Lion. Um, yeah, I've been watching him forever. I mean, I grew up in the Detroit area, and we used to
Oh.
for Thanksgiving. Yeah, for Thanksgiving we used to have our Thanksgiving dinner in the parking lot of the Silverdome at the Lions
Mhm.
game. Yeah, so my whole family's Lions fan, and always have been. In the UP, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which is attached to Wisconsin, there's a
Oh.
lot of damn Packer fans up there, which
Mhm.
much to my chagrin.
Yeah. Barry Sanders is my favorite player.
Yeah, he was a hell of a good player for sure. I got a chance to play basketball with him once. He
Oh, you
yeah,
played?
yeah, I was at Oakland University,
Mhm.
and he was there with some of the basketball team, and I knew a bunch of those guys, and we were all just playing pickup on a Sunday, and he walked in and like, quietest guy, barely talked, but he
Mhm.
made everybody look slow, made
Mhm.
everybody look small. He just was such a freak athlete. Like, it was just head and shoulders above everybody, dunking on people, and he was only like 5'6".
Yeah.
He's
Yeah. He's
he's
very short.
athlete. Yeah, big
Yeah.
thighs like this, dude. Huge.
Mhm. So Lawrence Taylor, and I don't know if he's exaggerating or if he's telling the truth here, but this is what Lawrence Taylor said, is one of the things he used to do is he would get a bunch of cocaine and a really hot looking hooker and have the hooker knock on the opposing running back's door with the coke
Mhm.
and just keep up the opposing running back up all night. And all the running backs answered the door except for Barry Sanders. He
Yeah,
wouldn't.
he's probably had headphones on, quiet, and he was sleeping, and guy was a professional. He's like the Joe Dumars of football. He just was a real professional. Good for
Yeah.
him.
So, and no coincidence that he was the hardest guy to tackle.
Yeah. Well, plus he's a freak. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like you see that on the field, and he looks better than those guys, and that whole field's full of freaks. Now you watch him in front of these were like Division II college basketball players, and he made them look like fifth graders, and it's
Mhm.
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was also, what's his name? He's still playing. The quarterback for the Lions.
Oh, I'm
He's,
Goff, Jared Goff,
no, the guy in the
Matt
Rams.
Stafford, Matt Stafford.
Yeah. I was the biggest Matt Stafford apologist.
Oh,
I
really?
always thought that he was good. And when he won the Super Bowl at the Rams, I told everybody, I texted everyone. I said, told you he
Yeah,
is
he's a
not.
player.
Yeah.
Uh, People in Detroit were rooting for him for sure, and when he left everybody felt bad because he was a great player and a really good dude, and everybody liked his family, and people in Detroit love him, so he went in the first year he went to LA, I think, is when he won the Super Bowl, and we
Right.
all cheered for him. I mean, I know I was cheering for him. I mean, it wasn't like he was playing against the Lions. The guy deserved it, man. He was here for 8, 9 years or 11 years or whatever he was. He played his fucking ass off. He deserved it. Good for
Mhm.
him, man. We all cheer for him.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. And it was fun.
Yeah, thanks, Roman, man. It's a good idea. I had a good time. So this was just a live. It's not gonna end up becoming like, this didn't get recorded or anything. It just went out live, and that's the end of it?
Oh no, you could keep a copy of it and post it.
Really? How do I do that?
Yeah. I think what happens is once I hit end, we both get a copy of it.
Sweet. And, hopefully I'll be able to dice it up, pull some
Yeah.
content out of it. That's what I like to do usually.
Yeah. Actually, what's it called? The words, the transcript. It comes
Transcript,
up,
yeah.
and then you just copy and paste it, and then it will. It's really cool. I'll
Good.
send you-
When I upload a podcast, it does that for me, so I'm glad to hear that's gonna happen this time too.
Yeah. Yeah. Substack's cool. All right.
Good deal.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Travis.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye.